I hope everybody out there in Denline is doing well tonight. Warning: the opinions given on this platform are for entertainment purposes only. Don't take it too serious. Enjoy the show. See, I feel like I have to start issuing a warning, right? And then I need to make, you know what, I'm gonna do that while I'm sitting here. I need to make a not all warning, right? Before we start opening up the lines and things. Don't call the line. I ain't closed the shit from last night. I'm start making a not all warning, right? And I ain't done nothing. Hold on. I haven't been out of pocket. I ain't done none of this stuff I'm supposed to do. I ain't hit the reset on the Denline. I have not. I mean, I'll do just cut this on right before the stream, right? So, um, but yeah, it's a lot going on. We're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about Tia Mowry, right? And of sister fame. You know, like if you're a famous twin, are you like really on like half a star? Like, or who was it? What was the twins' names? I'm telling you, I don't be giving a damn about famous people. I can't remember. You know the ones, the little twins from Full House. The twins from Full House. I don't remember. I don't remember their fucking names. Anyway, um, but then Mary Kate and Ashley. Damn, I couldn't think of it. So yeah, you know, all the signs are coming to fruition. I might as well join the winning team, right? It's definitely time to do some laundry. When you start seeing me wear like non-sport graphic tees and stuff like that, it's like yeah, it's time to do some laundry. Um, but like twins, like if you're a famous twin, you're only like half a star. You're not really a full star because you're only a star because you're a twin, right? Because like on your own, you just got like an average to decent looking person. But as a twin, oh, look at those cute twins. But in reality, it was just like an individual. It's an average individual. So we're talking about one half of the sister twins, Tia Mowry. We're kind of talking about that, but we're talking about what her mentality means for modern women. And it should be a very interesting conversation that we have tonight because I'm going to read some stuff to y'all. Because honestly, I didn't know anything about the situation, right? I'm just doing a little bit of clout chasing. Let's admit it, right? I gotta get these numbers up in the den, so you know if I can get I don't know the numbers up. Got to get them numbers up. Oh, I don't think y'all remember that shit. That was some old shit. You better get them numbers up. But yeah, um, so I'm cloud chasing. I'm gonna admit it. So it is what it is. I've sold out a little bit, but not really. Like we just got to get some new victims in the den because we don't torture each other like we used to. We're kind of nice to each other now, and that's cool. So we got to find some new people to pick on. But my name is Ed Honcho. I would like to welcome you to the Den. This is the greatest show on the entire internet. You can search high and low, and you won't find a better show. And the reason why I say that is because of you, uh, the viewer, the den folk, the watcher, however you identify. Being here is what makes it great. Because the show is about y'all. The Den Show, discussing everything normally is. I think I'm sticking with that right now. I think I'm sticking with discussing everything normally until I come up with some other new drastic change. Right. Eventually, it always happens. So, but again, as always, it is my honor, it is my privilege, but more than anything, it is my pleasure to get to chop it up with you tonight. So, thank you for letting me in your life this evening. It is much appreciated. Let's see what we have in the conversation. Let's see who's joining us this evening. And I said I'm going to start doing a Den Folk roll call. So if you want to, however you want to identify, you want to represent, your state, where you're from, what side of the country, you want to drop a fun fact about yourself. We're gonna do a little icebreaker in the den today. We're gonna get to know each other. Um, just drop your name, your state, and a little fun fact about yourself. That's the fucking shit they had us doing at this fucking job. Like, I'm not. I don't. There's no fun facts about me, right? I don't have any fun facts, right? So there's that. Oh, let's see. Yes, sir. Go Astros. Let's see. We got a mix. I see the lovely Miss D the Gamma. How are you doing this evening, ma'am? M5, what's the motherfucking deal? Appreciate that. So, Lise, what's the motherfucking deal? The lovely Miss Bell Northside in the building. Uh, I like Miss Bell. I do. I just, I just got a hard time trusting a woman who calls herself Southern that doesn't like Southern style sweet tea. Just saying. Just saying. I got questions. The Baker Man in the building, breaking bread. What's the motherfucking deal, Baker Man? Eastside Harold in the bit. My nigga Eastside Harold. I need to talk. We need to talk. We ain't talked in a while, man. The theme music didn't play. See, I didn't. That's why I say I gotta. I've been doing too many other little things. I gotta start doing QA checks before the stream, make sure everything is done like it's supposed to be. So that's my bad, y'all. I apologize. Play as fuck up. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Michelle. Actually, don't forget, y'all. It's Tubi Tuesday. I get excited. I get very excited for Tubi Tuesday because it's so bad that it's good, right? It's so bad it's good. And the movie tonight is going to be terrible, and I can't wait because it's the commentary of like from the Den folk that makes the movie so fucking good because it's so funny, right? And when you call that shit, see, this one's going to be very, very good, bad, right? And it's an ode to our good friend in the den, Professor Trill. The movie we'll be watching for Tubi Tuesday tonight is called Lot Lizards. I can't wait to watch it. Um, yeah, so there's that. Delta Echo Golf, what's the motherfucking deal? Roger Charlie, Echo, Billy, Goat Gruff, whatever, right? So, HT Jason, what's the motherfucking deal? Hey, it's his birthday, man. It's a birthday for the Jason. Happy birthday to the Mr. Jason. Happy birthday to Chu, my friend. Her Chu, me Chu, mis amigos. Um, let's talk about it, right? So, if you don't know, I guess people are getting upset, right? Because the Tamari chick, well, people get upset about everything. You get upset about everything but the right shit. But I always talk about celebrities. It's not really about the celebrities themselves because I don't give a shit about I don't give a fuck about celebrities in the slightest. Like, I really don't. Um, let me rephrase that. Like, I don't know. Most actors could fall off a cliff. Um, let's keep the athletes. Um, I'm throwing myself in the mix, but I guess YouTube people can go too. I'm not a celebrity though, so I guess I'm safe, right? That works. But like the YouTube celebrity people, like they can go. All the social media celebrities can pretty much go, right? Unless they're like actually informative, they gotta skid out. But other than that, anyway, so we use celebrities as a foundation, right? A foundation to talk about human nature and the things that people do. So apparently, she's like 45, just recently got divorced. And I don't know what exactly happened in the divorce from the things I looked up when I tried to do my little research. I tried to do as much research as I could without like going half. Uh, what was the movie in Tropic Thunder? Simple John, Simple Joe, whatever it was. Wise, what's the motherfucking deal? Um, I can't remember what the name it was. Simple Time, whatever the fuck it was, right? Um, yeah, the double good popcorn is for Sarah. Um, if you want to support Miss Sarah, she is at the top of the leaderboard. You can check that link that I have pinned to the top. So there, if you want to support a good cause, uh, I forgot the football team name. I'm a little there. I'm gonna look at the link again, but definitely go support. Um, so my thing is this, right? Like, so you, I lost my train of thought. That's why I can't read the chat. But you got this Tia Mowry, right? She's like 45, recently got divorced, got has two kids, like 5 and 12. And I'll kind of pull up the articles that I was reading because, like I said, shit just doesn't make sense, right? Right? Yeah, I seen that about what's his name? That's crazy. Who'd have thunk it that he might be before Joe, right? Anyway, that's a whole different conversation. So let me pull this up, right? Because I want y'all to see this. Let me just make sure. Close those tabs. Well, fill that. That would be all right. So, let me pull this up. Right, I'm gonna start doing stuff again. It's gonna eventually be more than me just sitting here. Okay, I'm working on it slowly but surely. I figure if I add like one thing back a day, we should get back to um, whatever. Do 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 do. All right, I believe it is this one. Do 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 do. It's terrible. All right. So one, kind of look at this guy, right? Hey, I don't know what the accusations were. I don't know what the situation was that caused the split. But again, I'm not. Let me not even go there. Let's just get to the point because I could go on a tangent and start just saying a bunch of slanderous stuff about people that I don't know. And although I feel like it, I'm not going to do it. I want to make sure we have a good show. I want to get some calls in, and I want to get to Tubi Tuesday. Right. So anyway, what is this Perez? What the fuck is a Perez? I don't even be looking at the shit I be looking at. This shit might not even be authentic. Anyway, so this, I guess this would be the motherfucker who knows. I didn't even know this was still a thing. Anyway, um, so she officially divorced from the husband after 14 years of marriage. Right? They have an 11-year-old son and a 4-year-old daughter. Um, she puts this post out. Whatever, whatever. So the breakup, something, a period of time, definitely, whatever. Got questions, according to legal documents, irreconcilable differences. That nobody said anything. Uh, joint custody of the kids. Said the dude always shared a message on his IG stories. I think he was finally breaking his silence. Was saying that I don't know. I've never heard this guy before. Acting off emotions will cost you every time. So he said he declared that he was cheating on his ex-wife. He said those are lies. So there's that. Anywho, I didn't even read this fucking article. This ain't the one. This is the one where she's crying about. This has nothing to do with anything, but this is just to give you like the type of personality that this person has. This chick is crying about not being on like a teen magazine cover, like from the '90s, right? This is from 2020. She was talking about, oh, they said that you couldn't be on the cover because you're black and it wouldn't sell, right? And she's crying about that from the '90s, like 30 fucking years ago. You're an adult. Grow up. It's not that serious. So this is the part. This is where we're getting to, right? This is what I was looking for. All right. This is exactly what I was looking for. This one. So it says, I hate these. I hate reading gossip articles because it's like talking to a suburban, fake, hip, like one of those weird black women that you see them like in the movies. Like I can't define it. Like all urban chic. We're just so into the culture. It's just like in this meaning. I hate reading this shit because it fries my fucking brain cells, and it bothers me, right? Because it's going to get to a point that I'm going to say here soon, but it bothers me because so many black women speak this other weird. I'm not even to say black. I don't even know if it's black, but it's just the yeah, it's the Root or Puffington Post or some guarantee it's black. But it's like they speak this weird ass fucking language that they're like, I'm gonna tell you, look, the fucking shit that bothers me the most is that goddamn it's giving. It's giving. What the fuck does that mean? What like explain it's give what's giving? Who's giving it and where is it going? Who is it being given to? Like this just fracturing and fucking up of like I understand slang. Slang is one thing, right? Slang is one thing. Using other words to refer to other things is one thing. But like a lot of black women speak this internet talk, and it, it's frustrating to have a conversation with a person who talks like that because they're not real, right? They're not, and they don't even realize because they're convinced that this is how all the rest of. But then you notice that there are other little certain acceptable groups that are allowed to use the same slang that is. But anyway, it's frustrating. So pardon me, I went on small tangents, but I can't stand the fucking shit. Dog. It's annoying as fuck. It's very very fucking frustrating. Blickety blickety. Fucking brain hurts. Anyway, October 22, 14 years of marriage, 20 years as a couple. Anyway, so she's talking about dating. And she's saying, just because the dating life is complicated doesn't mean I'm going to go back to something that no longer served me, right? It's like saying if I don't book an audition, to me, this is like a very bad analogy because to me, it's one thing that you're talking about having and leaving versus something that you're not obtaining. And I understand the dating part. Like I don't know, I don't. But anyway, it's like saying if I don't book an audition or part right away, I'm going to give up on my dreams as an actor. Please stop. I ain't that weak. Please move on because I have. Right. Thank you. Next. Um, Something about lies and blogs creating false information. And from all the shit, I didn't really see too much shit, but I guess maybe whatever. So obviously she is very sensitive about the shit because you must be reading this shit. Because even when I put the shit in like about the divorce, you don't even really see a whole lot of shit about rumors and shit. So that means you would have to really be digging for some shit to, or listening to some old, like corner of the internet shit about a motherfucker. Like so, obviously, she is very sensitive about this shit because she's, referring to from what I saw, I didn't see shit about it. Anyway, um, somebody says she's having an emotional response. She's stay grounded. She's talking about no boo boo. This is my response to stop narratives being like this is an arrogant mentality too. It's like, bitch, who the fuck you think you are that you're above the internet? Like nobody's above the fucking internet. Like it's a fucking hive mind, a diseased hive mind of people who do things. I don't even there's no rhyme or reason to any of the shit that they do, but they do these things. So anyway, like you're not above the internet. People are going to talk. Like you fucked up too because you broke like rule number 4 of the fucking internet. Don't tell the internet what not to do because then the internet is going to do it. You know what I'm saying? So obviously she's not aware how this whole thing works. So there's that. But it was something she said I wanted to get to that I thought was really dumb, right? So I don't even know what this is. I'm going to click this link. But she told Hello Beautiful in June that her kids partly inspired her decision to get a divorce, as she wanted them to see their mother walk in truth. It's the dumbest shit I've ever fucking heard. That's the most like when we talk about accountability and we talk about responsibility and we talk about shit like this. You using your kids as an excuse to get well, I want them to see me walking. Bitch, you just not happy. Just say you're not happy like every other bitch who gets fucking divorced in America. You don't have a purpose because again, you don't know how to figure out like and it's funny because when they get out there, then they're super depressed. They play like everything's good, but they eventually come to the realization, oh, it's me. I'm the one that has no fucking personality. I'm boring. It's not my partner's job to keep me happy. But it's cool. The bitches want to go back to the streets, you send them back to the streets. But to use your kids, I want them to see me walking. That's some arrogant ass weird shit to fucking say. Like, or it's really almost kind of scapegoating the situation. It's fucking dumb, man. It's crazy though. It is. It really is crazy. Uh, yeah, it definitely will. It definitely will be some woman bashing going on. It's the den. If I don't bash a couple of bitches by the end of a den stream, then was it really a den stream? So yeah, there's that. Uh, that's funny. I can't be looking at y'all while I'm trying to do this shit. But anyway, so yeah, using the kids as an excuse to walk in truth. Um, and she talking about opening up, being nervous and terrified entering the dating world, all this. Even in my 40s, I feel so inexperienced. Would it be easy for me to throw in the towel? Like, again, Bitch, everybody fucking like who? Why is you going back in the dating game? Like again, this is a I don't know. Is she still? Well, she on, I know she was on the View for a little. I don't know if she still is. I don't know if she's doing anything relevant right now. Because again, I don't watch enough TV to know. So y'all let me know in the chat if she is doing anything relevant. But to me, it just feels like child actress reseeking that fame and attention because according to her, sister was bigger than friends. Um, but to me, it's just you're trying to relive that childhood attention, faming. But people don't care about you like that anymore. There's a couple of old motherfuckers like us that may, not me, but a couple of old motherfuckers that's gonna be, oh, yeah, sister. Back there, I'd knock that shit down. But like, it's to me, it's just like these are the last clenching grasp at fame that you can get. And hey, look at me, I'm doing stuff. But what she doesn't realize, the happiness that she's seeking is not it's not external, right? And again, that happens with a lot of child stars too. I don't think they get to figure out who they really are because they're doing so much. You know, they're kids and they're getting like a fucking shit ton of attention. That shit is a drug. Excuse me. I was like, bitch, how are you trying to get out and give dating advice? But anyway, let me run through this because there was another thing she said. She was clapping back at people who were talking. Tia Mowry is living her truth. This is the dumbest shit. The dumbest damn shit. Look at this shit. And then there was something they were talking about, oh, she embraces wearing her gray hair. There's like two pictures. And then they don't see her wearing her gray hair anyway. Anyway, and they try to like, this is what y'all got to understand. A lot of women got to understand. Well, I don't know. A lot of them got to understand this, right? If you're a happily married woman and you see all this divorce encouragement. Like, y'all know that other women are miserable. Y'all know the bitches that are miserable, right? Y'all know all of this stuff. And you know that bitches are manipulative and evil and conniving. And you go and watch the shit and entertain yourself with the shit that these type of women put out. And then you wonder why, you have a shift in belief, your thoughts change and the things you do. Everything is part of your diet, not just the food you eat. Some people you associate with, the shit you consume, your entire existence, the way you operate is part of your diet. So anyway, I love being a wife, but I'm understanding that tradition could be a blessing and a curse. But what I mean by that is tradition warrants for no change, whereas change is constant. What the fuck does that mean? Like again, it's just like, oh, a lot of black women talk like Mr. Otis or Keith or whatever. And what I mean by that is they say a lot of shit and it doesn't mean anything, right? They say a lot of things and it just don't mean anything. And that's not a slight too much at Mr. Keith, but Mr. Keith would call in and he's saying a lot of stuff and it sounded real fly. It sounded real good, right? But when you got down to the core of it, he wasn't saying nothing. It was just a lot of roundabout weird shit to kind of like fill conversation. And that's what I feel like a lot of these motherfuckers be doing. Like, what are you saying? Define this for me. Explain what you mean. What is the change? Like, what is wrong with consistency? What is wrong with constant? What is wrong with something being there when you want it to be there? What is wrong with something being there when you need it to be there? What's wrong with that? Like this progressive weird mindset, like there is a need to change when change is warranted. Like it will happen as it's supposed to, right? When it becomes a necessity. But when you're just trying to do shit for the sake of doing shit, again, anyway. Um, so yeah, she blamed the deaths on some people close to her for like listen to this. So anyway, one change she didn't see coming was losing her grandmother. Who the fuck wrote this? I haven't read this. This is the shit I just clicked from. Who the fuck wrote this shit? I don't even want to fucking read the rest of this shit. Like, Like I got some bashing to do, and I'm trying to like, because I said I want to be informative about the situation so that people, when I go off, people understand why I'm going off about shit. So I provide you the information that I used. We're in real time looking at the shit that I have not read, and this is the look. It's not something that you want to take joy in or be happy about. But we are people. We age. Grandmothers are going to eventually pass away, right? Um, Great grandmas might be even closer to it. Unless you live in certain urban communities, your grandma might be 36. Anyway, um, I know I'm for the struggle reading the rest of this. This sounds like some dumb shit. Anyway, one change she didn't see coming was losing her grandmother. And again, that's part's sad, but just the way they write shit. Passed away in January when her spirit left her body. Tia didn't know how to cope. I was very, very close to my grandmother. She lived such a long life. Then I had never gone to a funeral of a family. So, like, really, right now I'm reading this shit like, bitch, you don't understand. So you've had a good, great life, and now you don't know how to deal with reality. This is what I'm taking away as I read this. I read this, right? Not in this context. Or not this actual article that she did, right? You've never been to the funeral of a family member. And I'm not saying everybody has, right? So some of y'all might not even know your family. Uh until what you said, 2019, like 45 now. This is 2023, it's like 4 years ago, so like 41. I think consider yourself very fortunate, extremely fortunate, if you've never been to the funeral of a family member at the age of 41. So again, my empathy here is very little. I had to see someone that I thought I had loved and thought was never going to go, even though she was older. So again, not dealing with reality. I kept thinking she ain't going. She's going to be here forever. Don't know how to deal with reality. 2 months before her grandmother's passing, Tia was grieving at the unexpected death of another close family member. I guess it was her sister's daughter at a party or somewhere in Cali got killed. That woke me up. I had to ask myself, "Are you happy?" Then I went to therapy. Let me tell y'all something about therapy. Ooh, fuck. Let me tell y'all something about therapy, right? And this is why I say we do it to our fucking self. And y'all gonna say Hunter's crazy. Hunter just be saying shit like my mind is. I'm always all over the place. I'm all into a bunch of shit, right? And so I don't keep accurate records of things. But I'm gonna start documenting things more that I find interesting, right? Because I'm always gonna revert back to them at some point in time. But black female therapists are the absolute worst, right? But black women are convinced they can't go to a white female therapist because they can't relate to them. And whatever, right? Whatever. Maybe, maybe not. That's your choice. Your therapy, who you want to talk to, that's on you. But there are a lot of extremely insidious is maybe the word. Uh, I don't even want to say that. Uh, I don't even know what I want to say less than quality. Like you got people who just have a title of therapist for whatever reason. I guess I don't know how you get it. Maybe they should go to school, whatever. Um, and they really shouldn't be in that position. We all know people who've gotten degrees, however they've gotten them, but it's a lot of people who haven't because what they do is they use these safe spaces and they are manipulated. They're putting these because they know this is a space where a person is vulnerable, right? And there are black women who are convincing other black women, well, you don't need to be in that marriage. You don't need to be in that. Like, instead of trying to work on things and fix situations or to try to resolve issues or get to the bottom of things or get to the truth about things or whatever it may be, they're encouraging, might want to leave, to go have hot girls. So they're encouraging them to cheat. They're encouraging them to do like this type of thing, right? Hunter, how do you know things? We'll talk about that a little bit more in the Discord. But so it's a dirty game either way it goes, right? Like it's a real dirty game. Um, but we do it to ourselves. This fucking seat was this shit. I like raised it up like 3 times, keep dropping. Anyway, are you happy? This is a pivotal moment where I was like, you know what? It's time to really start living your truth. What the fuck does that mean? What the fuck does that mean? Uh, as I asked her around, this was the time that she and Corey decided they were better apart than together. So this was years before that. This was maybe 5 years before I decided to make my decision. It took me that long to process everything and realize that it's okay. Change is constant. It's okay that if something is no longer aligned to serving you, to let it go. I've used the term serving you, right? I've used it. But a relationship is not to serve you necessarily, especially once you've entered a contract. Like you can't get out of any other contract uh in this country because as a legitimate case being that you're unhappy. You know, like, oh, I'm unhappy. I want out of the contract. Like, that doesn't work like that. There's going to be some proceedings, right? There's going to be some shit. But only in the contract of marriage is it justifiable to other women. Well, she wasn't happy. Obviously, it was his fault. He wasn't. He was probably cheating. It's like it happens all the time. I know it's a lot here in the den too. Like y'all notice, like we'll do a quick poll: 0 for no, 1 for yes. Everybody's involved. Do you notice that in the den when I speak to certain women about male issues, it's always because the male had to have done something to make her that way or do something to initiate it. It's never the fact that the female just could be a shitty person, right? Um, it's always the man did something, but that tells me maybe the men are just that much more powerful that women can't act on their own accord without a man initiating it. Something to think about. Tia Mowry's and her blessings. They're like, oh, this stupid. I don't want to read this stupid shit anymore. I'm done. All right. Anyway, all this shit to say because it really don't matter. It don't matter at this fucking point. All this shit I say is like this goofy bitch. Like, and I used to like Sister. I at one point in time as a young man would have took down Sister and Sister. Okay. Now, can't stand it. It's goofy. Like I don't again. I've never watched on the View. I don't even know what else is going on. I was kind of doing my research. She bitch was on the View. Okay, cool. It's cool. But I wouldn't fuck with Sister and or Sister, right? Because this shit is goofy. Like, but this is not about Tia Mowry. It's not about Tia Mowry at all. Okay. I wasted all your time talking about Tia Mowry because I wanted you to understand the mindset of the modernized woman, right? And this is a watered down version. This is an extremely watered down version. You get no free out. Plug that shit. What are you doing? What is background? What I got? What am I doing? What is this? Let me find a better picture. But this is an extremely watered down version, right? This is I was fucking with some AI shit, right? Because I was trying to get a certain thing for a topic, and it just did a bunch of shit. But it's crazy how realistic AI shit is now. These pictures and shit, it's really crazy. Now let y'all see what's back there. But that's not really the premise of what it was that I was trying to put up there. But I actually might use this for something. I actually might use this for something. But it's really crazy. I had another one. But yeah, AI shit is cool. It's gonna take us over. Like y'all know that we're like at the end time, right? Like it's only a matter of time before it's all a wrap. Like are y'all paying attention to what's going on around the world? I mean, we'll talk about that in the Discord. Um, Nacho GPT. Yeah. Let me see what y'all talking about. Cause I really ain't been listening to the. Not listening. I'm not listening to the chat. I can't hear you typing right now. Um, but yeah. So I've had to not be watching because if I watch it, y'all know I'm So the den ladies just don't just agree with this BS. I mean, I say off the wall stuff. I've never said anything off the wall in the den ever in my life. Not one moment, not at one time, ever. Not even jokingly. I don't say off the wall thing. Do I look like Michael Jackson to you? Huh? Am I here for your? Do I look like uh, Mr. Thriller himself to you? Do I like that? That's what I look like to you? I be forgetting this stuff is tastes really good. Oh, no wonder why. This stuff tastes really good and it's hard to taste it. And it's sneak up on you. But anyway, so no, I'm not off the wall. I don't say off the wall things. I only speak to facts, 100% facts, all the time, no filler, no additives, no preservatives. Um, Before or after the fire, um, little lago might. So there's that. But no, but again, it's always a situation like that. So why? I mentioned we talked about happiness the other day, right? And I thought that was such a good conversation. I really enjoyed that conversation because hearing everybody who called in speak about what truly made them happy and hearing the passion in their voices about like what made them happy, like that made me happy. Like, it felt good. Stuff like that kind of energy is contagious. I don't know. I've been on like I won't say a different belief system, but I've always been a person who's kept an open mind about things, right? I've always said that I don't feel like human beings really truly know their full potential. I'm a firm believer in this, but it's weird how certain feelings can be contagious. Like you might not be feeling a certain fucking way, and then you get around somebody who's feeling that way, and you start to feel that way. It could be happiness, it could be sadness, it could be whatever. Um, Excuse me. It's like these emotions got fucking Bluetooth, man. What the fuck is going on? So I think that we study the wrong shit. We worry about the wrong shit. We've got so many people confused, conflicted, and at this point, fuck it, right? But anyway, I say all this to say happiness. Why is that justification for most women? Why do they validate a woman's happiness over anything else? Right? I'm just curious. Why is it that important? Why are y'all so selfish? So anyway, now she complained the other day. I say all this to say what did happen to Tia Mowry. She complained the other day. I didn't actually have that article up. And what she was complaining about was that modern men don't behave the same way they did, I guess, 14, 20 years ago when she was with the other dude. And I say all of this to say that, of course, they don't. And the reason that they don't, it's women's fault that they don't. You know what I mean? So, again, there's that. Let me see. Let me see. Window, por favore. But it's women's fault that they don't because they, you can't. You can't talk to women the same way, especially think about what's happened over the last decade. You know what I mean? Like the Me Too movement. So you're talking about two different types of people. And the majority of people are going to, especially the majority of men, are going to respond to the Me Too movement in a certain way, right? And that is, appreciate the love, Mr. Illusion. Say, men must shake broke hoes. I just saw the thing. I was going back. Said men must shake boatloads of hoes with boatloads of, my bad. Must shake broke hoes with boatloads of kids and tell a bitch she can take a long walk off a short bridge. Why did they frame it like that? Okay. They wanted me to replay it. But yeah, I absolutely like, yeah, bro. Look, here's the thing. Let me talk about that for a second. Because again, we talk about how much men are not appreciated in this country for anything, right? They just aren't. The chick that talked about how the chick started dressing and acting like a man, and then shortly after that she had to end her experiment. She couldn't go as long as she said she would, and then she ended up offing herself. Um, a man, especially a dude who deals with a chick with kids, And I'm not going to judge anybody, right? It's, whatever. But if you choose to go down that route, highly unrecommended. But if you do choose to go down that route, um, you have to realize that the majority of women you deal with kids, you are not going to be appreciated in that situation, right? So you're inserting yourself into a situation that can devalue you, really. While others who benefit from it, yeah, they may appreciate it to an extent, and that's cool. And if that's what you want, then that's fine. But ultimately, and in reality, it's not the best situation for any dude. Um, it really is not. Like, I don't want to turn the whole show into that. We can talk about that soon, but it's really not. It's not an ideal situation, especially if we're thinking selfishly, like because we always look at it from other people's perspective. Well, who benefits from that man being a presence in the life of the wife and kids? But does that man truly benefit? Like, because again, people say, "Oh, well, he gets love from such." Only if he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. It's not unconditional. Only as long as he's, doing it. Like, and then again, he could be fucking with a bum bitch and some shitty kids who just don't give a fuck. There's a high likelihood of that happening, especially if you're dealing with the more modernized women. Like I say, I know women with kids, and we have conversations, just talking about stuff. Like I have friends, and they're like, hey, fucking kids, they don't appreciate shit. They don't like shit. They expect shit. You know what I mean? I'm saying, but it's your own fault because you've given them everything they've wanted every time they've requested it, and then you expect that they don't respond that way. They expect it. I mean, all they have to do is ask, and it appears. So, that's the problem when you have the women who are too friendly with their kids, who are buddy buddy with their kids. We're doing TikTok dance, man. You better punch that fucking kid in the face and tell them to go do their fucking homework. Like that type of shit is what you better be on. Because in this day age and generation, these kids, like there's a disconnect, right? There's an emotional disconnect from society as a whole, right? Not just your parents, not just you know, fucking, not just your parents, not just there's a disconnect, and it's I don't know if people see it, but it wasn't like this when we were growing up. I mean, you had like a weirdo kid. You had that one or two little weird kids in your class, and when I mean your class, like your grade level. You know what I'm saying? But now all the kids are the weird kid. All the kids are the weird kid now. And so you got to think about when you're dealing with a woman with kids, there's a high likelihood that you're going to be dealing with a woman with the weird kids, right? So again, you just got to be careful. Uh, that's a decision that you have to make. But again, it's a decision where a lot of times you're not going to be appreciated for it. And in the end of it all, there is no real benefit to a man who gets into a situation like that. Because you can say, "Oh, you can get the love from one woman, right?" Like that's a little bit simpler. So you can get the love from one woman. So all of that stuff is cool, and if it is what it is. But ultimately, it's not. Again, from a selfish perspective, it doesn't benefit you. It doesn't serve. It doesn't serve you. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we're serving stuff like that. Anyway, let me see what's on here. Oh, the butterfly PT. Chill out. What's the motherfucking deal? Shout out to the lovely Miss K Grace. How are you doing this evening? Uh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the lead. But a lot of the times now, it's like it's you know, of course, you and your kids are a package deal. Like we understand how that goes if you're dealing with a situation like that. But it's almost like you got to understand it's not necessarily a privilege to be dealing with you like that. You know what I'm saying? Because there's limitations on you, right? There are significant limitations. Your availability, your accessibility. You know what I'm saying? Um, I have to accommodate my schedule to. Oh, freaking peacock. Um, Peacock is worth it. It's whatever. And it's like I'm limited, not just because of there are additional things, but it's like, I'm trying to fuck. Well, little Jimmy's got tennis practice, and we gotta go, and we gotta wait to the soccer game, and goddamn, I'm no longer interested. My wee wee has gotten soft now. I guess I'll have to wait. Like, what kind of benefit is that, right? Like, as opposed to dealing with you ain't got nothing, and I'm trying to fuck. Well, let's pull over on the side of the road. Let's get in. Like, you have to understand, and those things are not taken into account when it happens. A lot of those women they're just looking at again from their lens, and I don't blame women for it because that's what a woman's nature is. That's what she's supposed to do. So that's why I say, guys, you have to think. You have to decide that. She can't decide that for you. You have to decide that you want to deal with that. Like, you can't be guilted into it or anything. It's like you have to decide that's the shit you want to put up because ultimately you're going to be the loser, right? If things go south ultimately you're going to have to be, the burden is going to be laid upon you and it's going to be spent. It's an additional burden, right? You got to think it's an additional mouth to feed and whatever you got going on. You have to think, are the trade-offs worth it? Again, she could be the nicest, coolest lady. Well, she got a little piece of shit demon child, right? Don't know how to raise. Don't want you to say anything. Don't want you to correct them or whatever. Like, if you're going to be dealing with these are things you have to take into account. And a lot of times it's easier to not have to deal with any of that because I don't have to say if I'm a person that never doesn't have any kids, I don't have to think about any of those problems ever in life. Like I don't have to think about any of that. There's no additional nothing, no hamster, no dog, no turtle, no, you know what I'm saying? Like there's a stray cat that comes around somehow who's born under the house, so he kind of hangs around on the porch, but I never pet him. You know what I mean? Somebody put a collar on him. I don't even know who put a collar. I didn't. I didn't put the fucking collar on the cat. But he hangs around. Hey, cool, whatever. I fuck with him. Um, but and so once you bring that into your life, you have to understand how this impacts somebody, right? But those things are never taken into account. Especially if it's a serious relationship. This is one thing, you're just fucking around and all right, well, I guess I'm uncle tonight. This is your Uncle Tom, and that's not a good one. This will be your Uncle Jamal, right? And motherfucker, nobody got so many uncles, but they don't ever be getting shit at Christmas time, right? It could be one of those situations. It is what it is. But I mean, it's hard to take into a serious relationship, thinking about all that. And so again, you're talking about Tia, but she has two small children, partner, but she's a celebrity, so it's different, right? So dealing with those kids, it's stupid. But the thing that pissed me off the most, and I know I'm going on a rant, and I'm gonna open up the line here and just say the thing that pissed me off the most was using the children to just, well, I want them to see me walk in my truth. What does that mean? Who can even no one in the den can explain what the fuck that means. Right? No record. I saw a coyote the other day. So not necessarily nearby, um, but not too far away. Right? So maybe, yeah, maybe. Yeah, see, look, yeah, Uncle Daddy. Dre, what's the motherfucking deal? Uh and I feel you, Baker, man, because I get it, right? But you also have to think in this day and age, it's not the same as it was back then. It's this day. It's you got to deal with the extra burdens. You got to deal with the kid burdens. You got to deal with the hot girl summer burdens. You got to deal with all that shit, right? You got to deal with the OnlyFans. Like you got to deal with men have a way more difficult dating navigation situation than women do, by far. By far. The worst a woman has to deal with is nigga might beat her up, right? Who ain't took a ass whooping every now and then? But we gotta deal with just burdens, just unnecessary additional burdens that just it's ridiculous, right? It really is. It's ridiculous. So again, yeah, it is, right? Yeah, yeah. I want to know. I want to know the truth. I'm about to open up the line, right? But before I do, I have to get properly prepared. So I think that's how I'll do it. See, it used to be. like back in the Kush den, as soon as we got it going, we firing up. But I think I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna come up with something because I'm gonna merge elements of the den, a little bit of the Kush den. But I think I'm gonna wait till the calls before I start partaking. And we gotta go on my ridiculous rant. I don't go too far off track. I'm gonna go off track. Like, yep. Well, what do you expect? I'm going off track. This is y'all been here long enough to know that. But I'm gonna come back, and then we're gonna get that thing. Um, so as I'm getting prepared, pardon me. We're gonna talk about how Tia reflects the modern woman, how she is reflective of what women are doing inside. Because you see women cheering this on, you see women encouraging this behavior, you see women, validating this. When in reality, what does it say to her children? Same children that she used. Like, what happens years later when these kids read this? Wait, am I the fault for my parents? Like, that's the thing. There's a lot of kids that go, they're all fucked up in the head because they feel like they're the reason their parents split, right? So this broad said, well, my kids need to see me walk in my shoes. Well, am I the reason? Like, the baby ain't gonna realize that shit. She's 4. She might, I don't know, but or 5. But the boy, he's gonna know. So, like, again, it's crazy stuff like that. To me, that's the most egregious shit. Like, that's the most selfish shit. Like, that part, saying that I'm using your kids as props as to why you're making the decision you're making. Like, no, you made that choice. Excuse me. Excuse me. Good grief. You made that choice. That's what you wanted to do. Leave them out of that shit, right? Like, leave them completely out of the shit. You're using them as a crutch because you really are a crazy person. All right, so pardon me, sorry about that. The eye is watching you. I feel like something else I'm supposed to say before we get there. Thank you, Miss K Grace. Thank you. See, that's why Miss K Grace is the lovely Miss K Grace, right? Do 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 do. So I also want to talk about, like I said, because this is a reflection. When I say celebrities, when we talk about celebrities are a reflection of, modern society. They are a foundation. We can use them as a case study, if you will. Even though, again, I believe they are a bad example to an extent because they don't deal they don't deal with reality like we do. They deal in fantasy land, right? They want to have way too much money and too much fame to exist in the same way that we do. So it's hard for me to believe, like when I see A-list celebrity relationships, I always think they're like planned, orchestrated for more attention, notoriety, or whatever. Like I just have a hard time. Like, or maybe just these people are so fake, they don't give a fuck. Well, you're a shell of a person and I'm a shell of a person. Let's go be some shells together and make this money. Like, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. I don't really know. But I don't believe they have real relationship, right? Like, they don't give a fuck. They're out in Hollywood doing Hollywood shit. And it's only a temporary thing. We just do this for a couple of years, while it's trendy. And then when it's no longer trendy, on to the next, right? That's the little game that we're playing here. Okay. So yeah, there's that. Um Something else I was going to say, and I can't. All right, so let me make sure I have all my proper supplies. And then I'm going to open up the line. The line is not open yet until I put the number on the screen. I'm just putting the headphones on. I'm just getting prepared. Okay. How are y'all doing? How are y'all doing out there in Denland? Right? Are you okay? Has anybody checked on you today? I'm serious. All right, how are y'all doing? I want y'all to check in. We are a community. Some of us more friendly with each other than others. It is what it is. Not everybody gets along. Shit, people in the same house and the same family don't always get along. It is what it is. We are a dysfunctional family here in the den, and I love it. But how are y'all? I am truly concerned. I truly do care because the fact that you allow me into your life as much as you do, being a part of this community is greatly appreciated, right? Um, and I'm thankful for that. So I'm genuinely asking, how are you doing today? Drop that in the chat. Let me know. And while that's going, y'all are putting that in there. Let me just put the finishing touches on this little piece of art that I'm working on. And just give me just a moment. And once I finish this masterpiece, we will take some calls. We'll talk about why, this is why divorce is so high, right? Because you have a lot of women doing this. I meant to get to the point of why I feel like she's doing this before I take the calls. And again, I think this is the issue that you have with a lot of women. I talked about, her probably trying to regain some lost childhood. And, her grandma passed away. That's just a dose of reality hitting her that, bitch, it's not gonna last forever. So now she feels like time is finite now. Now she doesn't want to miss out on all the fun that she believes is out there that she's been missing out on for so long. She's probably looking at the other motherfuckers' Instagrams and all, like a lot of these women are doing nowadays. Who was the other chick? Another celebrity. They were together like 14, 17 years, and they just recently divorced, the light skinned ones. The women see all these other women, they want to go back to the streets. Right? But the thing is that there's nothing in the streets, right? There's nothing in the streets, but it's just women getting deceived by other women, and they believe that, they're having this time of their life. They're having these parties. They're getting flued out. They're getting flued out and blued out, and then kicked out, and then tricked out. And now they go back home and they looking fucking crazy. What's the saying? With a wet pussy and an empty purse. Now men ain't shit. Now men ain't this. Men ain't that. Now, it's all that. Now I need a good man. Because I've been fucking ran through by all the niggas I thought I wanted and I thought they would want me. But it turns out that I don't have any personality because all I do is show my tits and ass, which, by the way, is going to be the topic Friday. We're going to have a Talking Dirty After Dark fight. It's been a while since we've had a Talking Dirty After Dark. And the conversation for Friday is going to be boobies versus booties, right? So it's going to be a very inappropriate conversation, not for the kids. So tuck your loved ones in and make sure you're there in the den. Again, these women are the biggest misleaders. Like I was talking about earlier, about how these women, they'll sit there and listen to these single, lonely, broken women tell them all this shit. But a lot of these women are miserable. A lot of these women, I'm one to talk right now. I thought it was back on the screen. I'm one to talk right now, but a lot of these women are drunks. A lot of these women are alcoholics. Like, y'all not realize, like, if you look at it, like, look at black female events, right? A lot of the things they do, everything involves alcohol. Drunk bowling. The fuck is drunk bowling? Drunk painting, right? And it's always oversaid. It's drunk painting with strippers is what they're doing now. Like the shit with black women is always over sexualized and over alcohol, right? Like everything. And again, I'm saying this as a motherfucker who's a little over alcohol right now. And ain't getting me the right time and damn, I might be a little over sexualized myself. But we ain't talking about me. We're talking about black women. That's what we do on the show. We allegedly bash women and don't call them Queen Mother Earth, and we're bad people. I love the ladies, right? It's just not that many ladies. It's a whole lot of women, right? It's a whole lot of bitches. There's a shit ton of hoes out there. Just not a lot of ladies. And I love the ladies. All right. I've always said that. What have I said? I've always said I love ladies. I like hoes. I hate bitches, right? I can't stand them. Can't fucking stand them. Hey, not so much on the weed. Miss Gray, not so much on weed. It's a trait if a woman know how to roll a good blunt. Then I question what nigga taught me. Bitch, what nigga you been around teaching you how to roll this weed this good? You must have been in the hood, bitch. You over there playing all itsy ditsy over there rolling this shit like motherfucking Cuban cigar. What the fuck is wrong? Anyway, that situation never happened. That was just all theatrics. Let me pull up the Denline. All right, let me check the chat. Cause like I'm on a mission. Like I said, I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission. I guess this is a whole lot going on. Um, mm. I start thinking about something completely different. Like I got lost in a whole different thought. Pardon me. It happens. All right. And actually, let me do it like this. This makes my sense. If y'all with this right here, knowing all things, all systems go, man. Let's talk about it. Why is this? What is this? What's going on with the modern woman? Why is happiness a valid? What is walking in my truth? Can somebody, anybody, please explain to me what the hell walking in my truth? What the fuck does this mean? Right. And it needs to be valid because see, for something to mean something, it has to be applicable in all situations, right? And so a phrase like walking in my truth, truth being a fact, right? Truth being like a thing, like it's a I won't say a concrete thing. It could be intangible, but it can be the truth. Like, but you can't describe it. You can't explain to me what walking in my truth means. Truth is a thing. It's a definable thing, right? Now, to me, walking in my truth means I'm just telling a story. Like, if you talk about my truth, that's just my version of a story. Like, this is my version. Like, that's what you're telling me. Like, and that's not necessarily true. Your version can be skewed by your perspective. You know what I mean? If you want, if like, it can be skewed by a bunch of things. So you're like, what does walking in my truth freaking mean? Like, what does explain this to me? Can someone please? Oh, wow, wow. Um. So yeah, I'm trying to understand exactly what is going on. Walking about my behavior is all is and always will be acceptable no matter what. That sounds about right. Oprah started that my truth business. Well, we see what happened. We see what happens with Oprah. Oprah out there begging for donations in Hawaii and with the rock. Got to get the fucking peoples over here and get your ass on. Keep it real time, Riley. How are you doing this evening, ma'am? Good to see you. Let's see. You need to say women smoke all day long. No, I definitely assume you. Oh man. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, yeah, they will definitely. It's a that's a conversation to be had. Yeah, man. So it's a crazy thing, man. It's a crazy thing. Um, the women just want kids to stay long enough till the kids are married on this. Yeah, yeah. That's basically what it is. Like women want the idea of children because motherhood is a goal, I guess. It's like what you're supposed to do. So women want to get that credit because there's some free attention in motherhood. Look at you, look at your stomach. You're glowing. Look at you. You just, oh my goodness, it's just so lovely. Look at you. Your skin is shining. They said, baby, it's kicking. Free attention, right? Yeah, it kicked me at night. I can feel it. Like all that weird shit, right? Um, but that's part of like what you're supposed to do. The same thing with being a wife. I posted something earlier, like, and that it's the realest shit I've heard in quite some time, right? And that is that modern women want to be brides, not wives. Let that sink in. Modern women want to be brides, not wives. And it's crazy because we talked about this the other day. I was talking about somebody spent a whole bunch of money on a wedding, like $40K on a wedding, and you staying with your mama, right? What? And I can guarantee you that the man is not running that relationship, right? Because no man in his right mind would, one, get married and you stand with the mama, right? Like that's a no-go. And then number two, y'all remind me what I was talking about. Do 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 in the ghetto. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling in to the den this evening?
It's Belle. I figured I'd get the first roll started.
Miss Bell, are you in the ghetto?
No.
Okay. Have you ever been to the ghetto?
Yeah.
You said that a little too excitedly. Yeah, because I'm known around there, and they call me Snow Bunny Bell. All right, Miss Bell. So talk to me.
Not as distinct as that, but yeah, I don't have a fear of anywhere I walk pretty much. I mean, there's certain places I wouldn't go under any daytime, but
Hi, Gangsta Bell.
I mean, it is what it is.
All right, all right.
It's a mixed genre of community.
Okay. So we're talking about one kind of Tia Mowry in that whole situation, but it's not really about Tia Mowry. It's about the modern woman and the mindset of the modern woman. Why do you feel women will validate another woman who says that, the grounds of her divorce was because she was not happy? Is that a valid excuse?
Depends if there's a deeper meaning than just I wasn't happy. On the surface, it's extremely shallow, but I mean, if there's more meaning to it, but that's what they're labeling it, that's kind of where the crux of it is. I mean, being unhappy in a marriage, I mean, shit, we're all unhappy at some point, whether we're married or not. Can't walk away from life. I mean, so, and if you're married long term, and as you said, they were together over 20 years, there's going to be ups and downs. And you said something about you wanted a definitive answer about living one's truth. I think and this is just my opinion, it's coming from wanting authenticity about how they feel about whatever relationship they're in, and not feel like they're faking it or putting on the plastic sunshine face for everybody around them if they're miserable, or I don't know. That's just kind of where I'm getting that from. And as someone who was a stepmom technically I'm still a stepmom. He died. We didn't get divorced. So I have 5 stepchildren. And so I get that. It's not easy being a step-in parent, especially when the children at whatever age don't want you to step into their lives with their parent. And you're right, it's completely unappreciated until years later. Because the natural instinct is kids want their parents to stay together.
But this woman used her kids as a justification for her to get a divorce. How do you feel about that?
Um, I heard it as I'm trying to put my kids forward and let their happiness be important.
But why would she say it like that? She said she wanted her kids to see her walk in her truth. It didn't seem like that was anything about the
Because,
children. I want my kids to
because
see me do something.
okay, because the thing is if you've ever seen your parents miserable and unhappy, it has an effect on how you're growing up and how you're doing and what your growth is. Because existentially, our parents are an influence on us whether we like it or not. And if our parents are constantly miserable, that's going to have an effect, even if they're the most present parent and do everything for us. If they're not happy, we as children, we see that in our parents.
So, but again, whose job is it to be responsible for someone else's happiness?
Oh, obviously, it's our own job to be responsible for our own happiness, but it doesn't mean that we're not affected by other positive or negative influences in our life.
But again, so if you've made a contract, right, with someone and you've made these vows,
Mhm.
right, and the only justification for, dissolving these vows was that I wasn't happy or that I needed to find my happiness. Now, it's not that, there's no accusations of this, that, or the third happening. So let's not resort to that. But the only thing that was
Mhm.
stated, let's go by a woman's word. Let's take a woman at her word, as we're supposed to do. She said she wasn't happy. Do you feel that's a valid enough excuse to terminate a marriage contract?
I'm not a modern woman in that sense, so I can't answer that on what you want me to, because I couldn't use that as a reason to leave my husband. I can't assume what somebody else's happiness or sadness is, and for me to go there, it's a judgment call. And as being when I was in my marriage and still have a traditional value about things, it's not one place I would have gone. It would have taken, and I'm not telling you that over the years there weren't times that I've thought about it, because I mean, shit, when you're married to somebody for a long time, you think about it. But, what are you giving up? Ultimately, what is the price of you walking away from it? And if you're willing to pay the price, then you're willing to pay the price no matter what reason you use.
So after all that, you know, so should the next man look at her as her word is less valuable? Because she made vows, right? And she broke these vows because she wasn't happy. You have other people in this relationship. We've talked about how kids being split between homes and how it impacts them and things like that. So is
Mhm.
her happiness truly more important than all of that?
I think that might have been a defining moment, but I don't think it was the only point that was. As a person who's been married, I believe that there's more than just me thinking about me than me thinking about my tribe as a group, because we've been together for that long and my decision will affect everybody. I think that maybe that's why she worded it the way she did, because she wanted her children to know that she was trying to include them in the happiness that she wanted to find. And she wasn't happy with her soon to be ex husband. There's not a lot that's brought out publicly. That's the hard thing about these examples, is that, not all of the dirty laundry is on the table for everybody to see. Well, that's the reason, that's the reason, that's the reason. We're just looking at it, at what she said in the word that she gave.
Why can't we take a woman at her? Aren't we supposed to believe all women? Why can't we take a woman at her word? She said there was no
It's
other
not
additional
it's not
stuff.
it's not just it's not so much the fact that it's a woman and a word. Marriage in itself is complicated because she's not the only one that's involved in it. She's not the only one that's contributed or not contributing into it. And if she wasn't bringing his name up, maybe she was protecting him. Maybe she didn't want her children to think that they had a rotten dad, so she just tried to keep it as positive possible.
See, I made a statement earlier. Y'all remember that statement I made earlier today? And there's a the reason I made that statement earlier today because I knew what just happened would happen, right? And I said earlier that we can't have a conversation about women's wrongdoing or without bringing up it has to be a fault of the man. Because somehow
No, what I'm saying
you
is
just reverted to him
no,
because she didn't want to tell her kids that they had a rotten dad. So you're assuming that it was something
no.
bad that she
Wait a
did. What
minute,
if
wait a
she
minute.
didn't do something? What if she did something wrong?
Okay,
What if she didn't want
hold
to tell
on
her
a
that she's a
second.
rotten person?
There's a difference between being a rotten dad and being a rotten husband, and that's
But
totally
why
two
is it? Did
different.
you notice you only addressed the rotten male? You did not address that she could be just a bad person. It could
Oh,
possibly
because the
just
thing
her.
is you kept poking at why this was just the reason. And the thing is that it's bigger than just what it is, but she's not going any further than that. It's basically a no comment issue.
Why does it have to be
She's
bigger than that? I read off on a different article where she talked about her grandma dying and all this stuff. It was
mhm.
5 years before the divorce and all these things that she said led up to this. Didn't say anything about my husband
Yeah, that's
changed
all the
on me.
roustabout. That's
But
all the frosting on the cake. That's not the actual cake in the inner shell.
so it can't just be that she changed as an individual and made a selfish decision for herself because that's what she wanted. It had to be somewhere down the line. Her husband, he lit a little fuse, and it may not have blew up instantly, but it just slowly, burned its way down until eventually it blew up, and she wanted a divorce. That's what you're telling me.
I don't know because I have not walked a mile in her shoes, to be honest with you. But that could be definitely the case. It could have been a crack in the foundation, something that ended up being a red flag that she never saw or that she just wouldn't tolerate anymore. And some people come into marriages thinking they can tolerate certain things, and then they decide that what, this is not something I can do. This isn't something I can tolerate. I mean, have you ever gotten into a relationship with a woman and obviously, you've said that, when certain things happen, it's like, yeah, I got to walk because I just can't, I've got to, you've had enough dealing with stepkids or with potential stepkids. And so that becomes a red flag for you.
But in
You've
in
gone
that
into
situation,
relationships and you've had
you know
those.
what I say? I say, I can't deal. I couldn't deal. I went into the situation knowing what the situation was, and if things happen or change, right, I realized, hey, this may not be the situation I initially thought it was, and I walked away. I'm going to tell people, hey. I couldn't do it. It wasn't. Oh man, she had kids, and they're like, I knew that shit going into it. Like I understand the dynamics going into it. There is a risk reward in that scenario. And if it looks
Mhm.
like there's not much reward benefit, and again, it's not to look at people as everything transactional or some type of value or monetary or whatever, then if I just look at the outcome, like what does this provide me in my life and what I'm seeking, it's not going that direction, then I'm gonna say, hey, I didn't think, or I'm gonna put the onus on myself. I'm not gonna say, it's because, whatever, or I just wasn't like I knew what the situation was. I changed my mind. I made a different decision. I changed. It wasn't what I thought it was. Instead of saying, well, because I wanted her kids to understand how a man lives and true, I had to leave or something goofy. Like, just own up to it and call it that. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. This is on
Well,
her,
the other
but
thing is
we keep reverting to
maybe
somehow
she
it's the
just
man's
didn't.
fault.
Maybe she just didn't want everybody in her business and just left it
Well,
as a
then
blanket
why
statement.
do an interview?
Because people want to know the dirt and they're going to keep digging. So the thing is sometimes you just give them a general cover of this is why it happened and just let it go at that, like almost a no comment, because they don't want people in their private business. I mean, as us being technically private citizens, we have that option of people not poking a microphone in our face and saying, well, how come you did this and how come you did that? You know, it was her way of narrating the story that she wanted to narrate with protecting her family. Whether it was her choice, whether it was her husband's choice, whether or not there were other things going on. I mean, at the end of the day, she was still trying to protect her family by not revealing that it was her fault or his fault or whatever. It's just they parted ways.
Well, my thing is this: if that's the case, why go public? If you're protecting, and why even put bait out there to try to intrigue? That has nothing to do with it. This woman is seeking attention. She's a former child star, and she's just trying to regain, while she still thinks she has a chance to regain some of that attention or whatever. She hasn't been receiving it like she used to. Again, these women are looking at Instagram, they're looking at the TikToks, and they're doing all this. They see these women faking their best lives, and that's what they want to go out and live again, because they want to do it before they feel like they're too old or they've lost their looks or whatever, while they still feel like they got a shot. This is the mentality of the
Okay.
model. It's pure selfishness. It has nothing to do
I'd
with
like to
this
say
man being
maybe
crooked. Go ahead.
I'd like to say maybe it's just her asserting her being independent from the marriage, and now that she's on her own, it's saying, "Hey, I'm single, and she's not going to bring everybody into her past about what's going on, but the next person coming into her life, she might open up to them. She doesn't want to open up to the world, which is fine." And the other thing is I'm one of those older, goofy women that you talk about, and hey, I'm okay with waiting until the right person comes along, the right guy comes along. If it doesn't, I'm okay with that. Does it make me a bad person? No. Does it make me lonely? Probably sometimes. But I would rather live authentically and know who I am and not be in a bad relationship than try to muddle through something just to be with somebody.
But you should do that before. You should have that known before you enter the relationship, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So when kids come into a relationship, do you put yourself first or do you make sacrifices?
Kids come first.
Do you believe that a two-parent household is stronger than a single-parent household, or kids going between households?
Honestly, it depends on the happiness in the household. If you have a toxic relationship with the biological
How do you how
parents,
how
oh
do
hell no.
how do we measure happiness, Ms. Bill? How do we gauge happiness?
If they're constantly bickering with each other, if there's just no continuum, if they're not working together as a team, and you're working against each other, yeah, it can get toxic as hell. And in that case, two different homes can be a better option.
Okay, but what if both of those homes are toxic? Now you're just going, instead of one toxic home, you're going to two toxic homes, because 9 times out of 10, you're going to have mom over there depressed, and depending on if she's what type of woman she is, she may be there lonely, very depressed and suffering because she's whatever, or she gonna start tripping and hitting all the ladies' nights and doing all that other stuff, and now these kids are seeing mom in a different light, and they thinking that this is okay, and dad, he's having some kind of midlife crisis because he's going to strip clubs, and he's probably dating hookers or something. I don't know. Now he's got two talk. He's drinking more and all this other stuff. So now what's worse? Because we keep putting these like extra caveats on things. We can with these scenarios. So like, would it be worse now to have one toxic household or two toxic single parent households?
At this point, I have no freaking clue anymore. And I'm glad mine are grown. I'm past that. I don't have to think about it anymore. I was blessed to be able to put my kids first and get them raised, grown.
So what do you think of do you look at another mother who puts herself in front of her kids differently than you would look at a mother who puts her kids first?
Yeah, selfish. Yeah. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, I would consider them selfish. If you're going to put yourself before your kids with significant things, absolutely. I mean, if there are things that you have to do for take care of yourself, that's one thing. But if it's doing it to compromises your children's health, education, they're being brought up, that's a totally different story.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Now, am I not going to say that the mother probably won't be a little depressed and miserable? Yes, but that's part of raising kids is making those sacrifices,
I mean,
knowing that later on it's going to get better.
yeah, but she very much so is, because even though you mentioned earlier about her not putting her business out, she's putting her business out about dating, because she's putting out, oh, I'm dating and it's not the same as it used to be. So like, this woman is seeking attention. It has nothing to do with privacy or her kids. She just is seeking attention. She's just complaining about how men don't date the same as they used to, and
No,
of
they
course they
don't.
don't. And they shouldn't. Why
Well, the
should
thing is,
they?
we're in different age brackets than we were 20 years ago, so of course it's going to be different.
But I mean, as a whole,
The
I mean,
gene pool is
why?
going to be smaller than it was 20 years ago.
But it's not even that. Like, she's a woman in her 40s, so there's still a relatively large pool available. And again, 20 years ago, we were still raised up, because that's a little older than I am. Men of that time were still raised up more respectfully, with
True.
morals, and they didn't behave like this. So that's going to carry on, because that's how they were raised. So it's going to be ingrained in them. So there are good men out there, but there's a reason why men are not dating and treating women the same as they used to, and it's women's
But on the
fault.
same note, society in itself has changed on how dating rituals have changed as well.
In what way?
It's been both men and women that have kind of both caused a bit of the downfall of it.
How so? How have men contributed to the downfall of dating?
I'm not sure. That's the only answer I can give you. And I'm not saying that women have done it all, because it takes two. I'm just saying that it's a whole lot more messed up than when I was growing up. And that doesn't make it good or bad. It was just a different time period.
How do you think women have contributed to the downfall of dating?
Honestly, not making them wait for it longer.
You believe that's the downfall of dating?
I think holding back a bit and making sure that it's right before just deciding to get a nut off or deciding to feel good about it is, and as we know, disclaimer, not every woman does that, but there's a lot more than they used to be. And society has allowed that and said technically it's okay, but privately they punish it and they chastise it.
Okay, so um,
In general, society can be fickle.
so you feel like women making men wait is the issue. How long should a woman make a man on average? I know every woman's going to be different, but if you were to just give an average amount of time, how long do you think a woman should make a man wait before they become physically intimate?
4 to 6 months, maybe. That can depend on schedules. It can depend on a lot of things. If they have only seen each other twice in 6 months, that's not very long. But if you've gone out on a date every week for, 3 months, it's going to vary.
So you're saying like 1/3 of a year to 1/2 of a year. This is what you're telling me right now.
Well, again, it depends. If they're seeing each other every day, no, obviously you're not going to wait 4 to 6 months. But if you're seeing each other maybe twice a week, you know, over that time, yeah. So, there's going to be variables in this algebraic equation with all the different things to put in it. But
right?
the first, second, or third date, no.
You
If you're
know,
serious and want to court a person, that doesn't mean you're going to get married. But if you want to have a serious interest in somebody, step away from the sex and get to know who they are first.
so should men still court? Because that was what she was complaining about. That men don't court women like they used to. Should
No,
it?
they don't.
Should they?
Well, the thing is most of the time you know within 3 dates whether or not you're wasting your time. Both parties generally. And a lot of times, if you don't go back after a second date, then you don't.
Do you
No hard
think
feelings.
the average woman is worth courting these days?
That's a rough question, to be honest with you. I think they deserve the chance to be courted. Whether or not it actually happens is another thing. I mean, there's some real ratchet women out there too. I'm not gonna totally go for bad for all women, because there's some pretty messed up women out there.
Yeah, everybody's fucked up. There's, again, like I said, we can recognize that there are fucked up people across the board, and that's the whole premise.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're extremely fucked up dudes. I would not recommend women even going near and or associating with. There's probably some extremely fucked up dudes that don't want to go near women and probably won't fuck with them. That's a whole other conversation. But we
Mm-hmm.
we can acknowledge that. And so that's all I'm saying is that there is a significant number though, and I think that's the problem. I believe there's a significant number of dudes. Like it's not negligible. Like, but with women as well, I almost feel like it's the majority. You see what society is pushing. You see what the internet is doing. But then you have to kind of go outside in real life, and that's where you really get a gauge of things. And I'm seeing older women dressing much more provocatively. They're doing all the shit that the young girls do. They're getting the nails, they're getting the lashes, they're getting the crazy, like they're doing all the shit that the young women like, bitch, this ain't your style. You was wearing finger waves or some shit in the 90s. Like you just trying to keep up with whatever is hype. You know what I'm saying? It's like you too old for that. Like, you gotta find your little
So
style.
basically, you want us old women to stay in our lane, is what you're saying.
No, everybody needs to stay in their fucking life. But what I'm saying is that it's not even that. It's not even that. Matter of fact, you can do whatever the fuck you want to. I'm not here to judge anybody doing whatever the fuck they want to do. But you can't
Agreed.
expect to get the same treatment now that women got back then when they were much more conservative. It was much more appreciated. You were trying to court the clothes off. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I want to know what's under that dress. I want to know what's under those clothes. So you were courting the clothes off back in the day. Now the bitch put everything on. I'm just check her Instagram. Oh shit, that bitch got a mole on her ass. You know what I'm saying? Like you gonna see everything you want to on the ground. You put the titties all in your face, all that shit. Like, excuse me, it's available. So now, why am I gonna court this bitch? I'm gonna just, hey bitch, I got a 2 for $20 at Chili's. You know what I'm saying? Is you with it? And then she gonna be like, yeah, let's do that. And then you gonna smash and you never call again. That's basically like the level of shit that's going on nowadays, right? So why is it worth it? If I'm getting all the goods on display, what's the old saying? Why buy the cow when you get the milk for free? The milk
Because the
is
cow's giving too much milk away.
that's what I'm saying. The milk is on display and the milk is free and the milk is expired and free. It's like it's too much milk out there, right? So it's
Agreed.
well, so why? Like what man has to court when again he could it's more ready. That's why I say blame women. But even not even that, not even just that aspect of it. It's like decent men can't talk to women anymore. You can't. A decent man cannot court a woman nowadays, or what you perceive to be a good woman, without risking it all, right? Without her making up some kind of story or trying to me to you. Or men can't talk to women the same way they used to, and now women wonder, well, men aren't coming up to women. That's the big complaint, that men are not approaching women anymore. It's women's
Well,
fault.
I can agree with that. I totally agree with you that women are making it harder on men in order to be approachable. However, as somebody who is very conservative, I don't appreciate being called a prude just because I'm not going to put out immediately either. And
Nobody.
so I No, I have been told that,
I
and
don't
it's
even know
like,
the last time I heard the word prude. I couldn't even
y
tell you.
well, my daughter calls me a prude all the time. But anyway, the point being is that just because I'm reserved doesn't mean I'm not approachable. I'm just not wanting to be jumped, on the first two dates because you need to get a rock off. You know, if you're in
Sometimes,
it for that, and that, be upfront about it. And if I don't want to, I get to say no. But don't lead me on, and do the 3 to 4 weeks or whatever, and by the end of the month we're in bed together, and all of a sudden it's like, see ya. Because that happens a lot these days too with women. They get let on more.
well, what if, he puts in, that month of work, he gets in bed and he realizes, you know what? We're not sexually compatible. And sex in a
That
relationship
happens.
is important to me. So what if that's why he said, hey, you know what, I can't continue on with this. Why can't that be the case?
No, it can be, and that's fine because that's honest. But you know, this is where gaslighting comes in. This is where just total blow off comes from.
I mean, but wouldn't you rather be blown off than a motherfucker say, your sex sucks? Like, what would you rather, just be ghosted, or motherfucker say, hey, you got shitty
No, I would.
sex?
I'd honestly, I would rather them say that, hey, we just not compatible, because that way I can cut it dry and I can move on, rather than lingering and saying what the fuck, not knowing whether it was my fault, their fault, or whatever. Be direct.
Uh, you say you rather say the sex sucks so you know what to work on. I mean, and I can see that. I would always say, definitely if you are with someone who is going to be a person you like long term, and I know it can be bigger than sex, more than sex for some people, but for some people, sex is a big deal. You got to build up on some of the other feelings. If the intimacy is
Yep.
not there, it might not work out. But again, it is what it is. I said the lady at the breakfast spot that ordered from a lot said the last couple of months she had on hell of makeup and a bra. Did she recently get divorced? You know what I'm saying? Or is that what's going on? Because that's what, like I say, you can tell when a woman is putting herself back on the market. You know what I'm saying? And
And you
so,
can tell when a man is too, because they start going to the gym, they start shaving their face, they start manicuring their nails. Some of them, not all of them. But yeah,
I
it's
don't know
getting
about all
back
that.
into fighting weight, that kind of shit.
I don't know about all that. I don't know. Men don't do that. They just drink a couple of beers and go ride their Harleys, and they just ride off in the sunset and let their emotions ride in the wind.
Yeah, I
That's
think that
that's
just
all we
depends
do.
on the individual man, but yeah.
Okay.
Who knows? So you got anything else for me?
No, Miss Bell, I think that will be all for this evening. But I do appreciate you
Thank
being
you.
a good sport.
And I wouldn't mind some of the guys calling in. I'd appreciate to hear their point of views on this.
No, I know what they're thinking.
All right, well, let
All
them own it then.
right. Well, Miss Bell, hopefully we'll see you for Tuesday Tuesday. I do appreciate you calling in.
I'm going to do my best.
All right, Miss Bell,
Night,
you're
Hunter.
running the bell. I appreciate you calling in tonight. Shout out to Miss Bell being a good sport. Yeah, I must have talked for a really long time. I was definitely rambling on this evening. Um, but yeah, here's the thing, right? I'm gonna tell y'all something, and this is what people have to really realize. And sometimes, depending on the situation, it can be difficult, right, to accept it, especially for women. Women are the ones that really can. Men, I think men are more accepting of this fact. I think men know this better than women do, and that's fuck with who fucks with you, right? So also almost like getting chose, right? Hold on a second. I gotta put the ring on. Oh shit, I just missed it. My bad. But it's almost like getting chose. Please call back. It's like getting chosen. So if that bitch is down for you and want to be down with you, that bitch will move mountains for you. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with abroad and women. It's a lot of niggas that be want to fuck with chicks, but they in the DMs never getting spoken. But these niggas will go to they'll move mountains for you. But because he's not what you've been traditionally told that you like or whatever, or he's not exciting or this other weird shit, he can't fix your emotions. You don't want to fuck with him. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling in to the den this evening?
Hey, it's Miss Grace. How are you, Honcho?
I'm doing very good, Miss Grace. How are you doing this evening?
Good, good. Listen, when I woke up and I heard you talking about when people say my truth,
Mhm.
whenever I hear people say my truth, in my head, I'm saying your lie.
Yes.
Because there's only a certain kind of people that speak that way. And it's those people, those delusional kind of people that like that kind of lingo. You mean? And when they say my truth, it's something that they want everybody or you to accept regardless. There's no such thing as your truth and that truth. There's the truth and that's it. So yeah, they're those lying kind of people. And
That's
it's
how.
acceptable today. Remember I told you lying is acceptable.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Like that's exactly what I think. Like my true that's such a vague, weird statement, and it means nothing. So yeah, I kind of feel the same way. It's just you're trying to cover something up, or you're being disingenuous about something. Like it makes it hard to trust a person who says that type of stuff.
Right, right. And also, when these girls are like these Instagram, what do they call them? Instagram hoes,
Pretty much.
Instagram women. But they're always checking the internet and looking around to see how they can be like someone else. Oh, that's good. I'm going to try that here. Oh, this is good. They act like this here. Oh, this is the new word they're using. They're trying to be so much like others instead of allowing themselves to be different. Yeah, I would hate, and like I mentioned it the other day, you be talking to guys and they all sound alike and they all seem to say the same things and they all have the same interests and things like that. I would be bored out of my mind. You want somebody that's different, someone that that can initiate an independent thought, an original thought. Some people just say things and it's like Kamala Harris. They just say a bunch of things, and it's like, have you ever had an original thought of your own? Some people don't. And that's happening more and more that I see. And then the other question you asked, how to measure happiness. Isn't it something how I just go ahead and I just write down your questions, so you don't even have to ask me. You don't even have to ask me, Hancho. I got you.
I appreciate
But how do I measure happiness? Is to be without misery, especially caused by that person. Because I can't be around anyone that I don't like. I have to like them. And if they do something, because if they do something as little as blink their goddamn eyes, I'm going to get pissed off. If they inhale and exhale, I'm going to be mad.
I'm laughing. I understand. I understand. It's some people, and yeah, I understand.
Yeah, they walk by the way their ass moves. You just want to drop kick them in it. You know what I mean? You just can't. You know what I mean? I mean, my God, they chew. Oh Lord,
No,
you're hoping that they
that
choke, and
that's
you
the
want to
one.
stab them in the neck with a dull pencil. Really, it's like, yeah, if you don't like them, you know what I mean. So as long as I don't have those miserable moments in my life, that's how I measure my happiness, and that's from anybody. And I know it sounds so simple, but that's the truth for me, Hancho.
That's so funny. And that chewing, the chewing thing is special. I think chewing is like a pet peeve of mine. It does something to me. When certain
Yes.
people chew a certain way, oh, it like it's a. I don't get annoyed by a lot of things, but the way certain people chew, it fries my nerves. Like I can't think straight. Just it's yeah, I have to address it. So
Thank
yeah.
you. I had a guy that used to chew, and he used to make a little clicking sound in the back. Oh my God! And when I didn't like him anymore, I really just wanted to take his head off. But okay, and the other thing, as far as dating, where you had said how long do you wait, this, that, and another, and blah, 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 blah. I don't have time for those games. Never
Yeah.
did. You mean if you know yourself, you know what you like, you know what you don't like. If you're vibing with someone, and that's a word I'm going to use because I don't like to use words that are in style or anything like that. But if you're feeling someone and you like them and they're good and this, that, and another, it might be quicker. You know what I mean? Because sometimes if I wait too long, it's because I don't like them at all, or I have those kind of feelings for them. You mean to go to take it to the next step? You know, I just don't. You know, so people say gotta wait 90 days, gotta wait 30 days, you gotta wait 6 months. Don't come around here and playing games with me, especially now. You know, never before, but especially now. I could be dead tomorrow. Damn it.
I agree, and you can't. I don't think you can really put a timestamp on something on nature. Nature says, well, okay, you got to wait 36 days and 14 hours. Like you said, if that connection is there and that it's you're gonna do these things, and especially. I'm a firm believer. Like if you have a real sexual attraction to someone or two people have a real sex, the nature is going to take over. It's only going to be so long before, there's going to be, if you, like you said, you don't really she's up, right. It's okay. You'll wait out and just kind of see how things go. But if you really attract to somebody and you like them, like personality, it's going to be kind of hard to put a time frame on some
Yeah.
shit like that. So I understand.
And you talked about moving mountains. When you like someone, if a woman likes you, she'll move mountains for you. If a guy likes you, he'll move mountains. Today, they have this word, this term, they call it love bombing. So they make that a negative thing. That's how we courted. You
Yeah.
mean, and you showed how much you like somebody. You mean, and you wanted to get closer to them, and you appreciated them, and you wanted them. You go out your way and you move mountains for them, and the guys would do it in return.
I'm so
And
glad
so
you
I
was
don't
there,
like that
bro.
term. It's love bombing. That's not
Yeah.
right. You love bomb. Hey, love bomb me, baby.
Yeah, I've heard that word, and I'm glad you mentioned it because that's something I've wanted to talk about in here. And it's crazy, like you said initially, that's how you do. You have to show that intense interest, depending on what the situation is. Like you got to let somebody know, hey, I'm here for you. That's not a sustainable thing. Like you are going to be there for that person. Like you said, you will move out. You will still, but it's a point where like sometimes when you initially meet somebody, you will alter your lifestyle to kind of adjust to them, to get to know them or certain things, right? And so,
Yeah,
but then there's a point where, okay, we've gotten comfortable enough with each other, familiar enough with each other, or whatever. There's certain things that I have to continue doing, or this is part of who I am, but it doesn't mean I'm not as interested. I'm still have this level of affection for you. I had to do what I had to do to get your attention. But like the love bombing thing, that term is crazy to me, right? Now I can see if you do a bunch and you just disappear, you just go, same. Like that's one thing, but
right,
these people want these modern women, and I see it all the time, and they literally say it. They don't want to be in relationships. They want to be worshipped. Like they want to
right,
be worshipped for existing. And so a thing like quote unquote love bombing, if it was perpetuated, it would be on the level of being worshipped. That's what a lot of these women want, and they don't realize it. But the things they say are crazy, right? But again, like I say, that's a hard reason to date. What if I've seen someone say, "Oh, well, you're love bombing," but okay, well now I don't want to do anything because
right,
how am I supposed? It's such a confusing situation, and the more people talk, the more people express their opinions, the worse it seems to get. So it's crazy.
right.
Yeah.
I'm reading something my illusion wrote. He said he measures his happiness by the happiness of his family. Yes, when I'm happy, I can make everybody else happy, but I'm always a happy person. Big M said something to me one time, oh God, maybe a year ago, and we were talking in the Discord, and he said, Miss Grace, it's hard to find someone that's always happy. Because I talked about a particular person that was always happy. People that are always happy, either they're retarded, or they're maybe really happy. you know. But it is, yeah. I'm a happy person. You know, I really am. And one more thing before I hang up, unless you have any other questions for me, getting to know somebody, I know if I want to take it further, if I want to kiss them. You mean, and it depends because I'm not putting my lips. I just talked about that joint thing. Ain't nobody putting their lips on me. I'm not putting my lips on them, not on the mouth, because kissing is serious to me. You mean, and so if I can't kiss them, we can't do anything else.
Yeah. And that's why I've always thought
Kissing's
it weird.
important.
Like people who make out with strangers, and like I've always thought that was the nastiest shit. Like, well, yeah, I made up with this chick at the bar. Like I always thought that was the most like what? Like no, like that's the last thing. I don't feel like that's validated. Like people who do that are the most disgusting people. Right? I know some of
Yes.
y'all in the den and done did it. Like, cause yeah, that mouth spit swap all. Look, I'm not gonna get too graphic, but yeah,
Go
I'm
ahead, get
graphic,
graphic. Gross
but
them out. These are the young people. They need to get grossed out.
no, I'm not going to say that because I'm a disgusting individual. But if I'm feeling somebody, it's going to be a very intimate exchange of things. We'll call it right. And so,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, I gotta fuck with you like that. I gotta like, it's not going to be like, man, look. I can't. And that's why I say so weird. When people made out with just like you make it out with just anybody in the bar, like it's nasty. That's like
That
it's
is
really
nasty.
disgusting. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, they just kiss anybody, and I want to look at their mouth. You want to look at their lips. Do they look exfoliated? Are their teeth clean? Is their tongue clean? Do they drink plenty of water? Do they exercise? Do they eat the right things? Because anything you put in your body, it's going to come out of every hole in your body. And another thing today, when I watch television, that these guys take these girls out on dates, I'm so sick and tired of these broads. I want some crab legs. I want some scrimps. I want some crab legs. That's the last thing, ladies, that you should be eating when you're going out on a date, especially if you're planning on being with that man, if you know
Mm,
what I mean. You
mm,
got to keep your pH balance right. You know what I mean? And
mm.
like garlic, it enters the bloodstream and it's going to come out of it. So that's not what you should be doing. And that's why these guys are complaining that these broads smell like fish.
Mm, mm, mm. That's interesting. That is
Yeah, you
very, very.
can't. You can't. There's certain things you can't do. You got to know yourself and you got to know what's good and what's not. I don't want anybody all nasty or anything like that there. But I guess did I go off track here?
No, you good. You good.
Because I keep saying I'm going to behave. I said my kids would be horrified, so I got to watch what I say. Illusia was up to say, I'm just surprised that Miss Grace. you know, the story I told the last time, calm down, calm down. That was my, was it mid-30s, that time, that other one? So calm down, people. But I'm going to get off here before I say too much.
It's all good. Are you going to be joining us for Tubi Tuesday, Miss Grace?
Yes, I will.
So it's going to be real good. I can't wait.
Is it a movie that Trill picked out?
No, it's a movie that Miss Michelle picked out and dedicated it to Trill, and it's called Lot Lizards.
Oh, Get Out.
Yeah, that's the name.
Oh, I
of the
can't
movie.
wait. Okay, then.
All right, Miss Grace. I'll see you in the Discord.
Yeah, good night. Bye-bye.
Good night. All right, thank you for calling. Shout out to Miss Grace. So it is almost that time, right? And so I'm gonna make sure we get on for Tubi Tuesday on time. I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna give y'all just a couple of minutes to get your snacks and shit together for Tubi Tuesday. So make sure y'all are in that thing, and we will be watching Lot Lizards picked out by Michelle, and Michelle will, I guess, get to pick who. I guess what we say we doing popcorn or some shit, or we gonna vote. We'll see. We'll decide. I don't know. We ain't giving too many people too many privileges. Uh, yeah, we'll figure out who picks the movie next week after the movie. But be there. I haven't watched the trailer. I'm gonna put the trailer on. I'm gonna put the trailer on as soon as we get to Discord, and then after everybody get about 5 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes to get yourselves together. We're gonna watch the shit. Make sure you hit that like button. Again, shout out to Illusion. I didn't have it on the screen because I was plugging shit up, but I appreciate the support. Shout out to everybody in the chat holding out a conversation. Correct, Drake. Crazy stuff going on. Shout out to Miss Bell for being Miss Bell, representing the number one caller. Shout out to Miss Bell. If I actually kept track of records and things, I don't know. Miss Bell might got y'all by a few miles. So I don't know. Who? That's a good question. We might have to talk about that one in the Discord. Who is Miss Bell the number one caller? And if not Miss Bell, who is? That's a very interesting one. I don't know. Miss Bell might. I think Miss Bell might got it. But anyway, with that being said, I am your host, Ed Hacho. I appreciate it. Let me put the Discord link in the conversation because let me see. And there we go. Yeah, I had the link up in the deal. So if y'all missed it, I had the link pinned up there before I put the comment from Miss Grace to support the fundraiser. Let me see. Let me see. Put that back up here before we slide out. Just what did that do with it? I had it pinned up at the thing. That's not. Hold on. Oh, what? $12 away. All right. Let me put that link up right here. So if you want to support Miss Sarah Lou, the lovely Miss Sarah Lou, and put the Discord link in here real quick like that. So make sure y'all in that thing. The hip nigga, what the fuck? I look like watching some hip hop awards, nigga. Like, come on now, DeMarkey. You know better than that. I'm offended that you even asked me some shit like that. I don't even know who the fuck who and hip hop don't deserve no fuck. Like this, the rap is so nobody deserves an award in rap anymore. There's no rap award worthy rap being aside from that little nigga Akeem Ali. That nigga be spitting. Um, it ain't too many niggas. There ain't no award worthy rap out here right now. Okay, like other than that, like get the what? Hold on, my nigga. You ain't gonna just I'm just gonna talk down on my nigga Bun. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like you ain't just gonna hate on my nigga Bun like that. You know, I prefer older Bun to newer Bun. Bun still probably has my. I'm just talking about like a hard ass verse. Murder might be one of the hardest verses. Just the Bun B's verse on Murder might be one of the hardest motherfucking verses out there. Like I know niggas like Tupac hit him up and all that. That nigga Bun B verse on Murder, bro, was just it was something else. Like it was a different thing. But times change. People change. You gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta adjust with society. You gotta leave your family after 14 years and blame it on your kids, like Tierra Mowry. But anyway, make sure you're following all the proper social medias. Links in the Discord. Links in the description below. Any link that you need for our social media. Um, I gotta put the Discord link in all this stuff. Descriptions, Discords. Oh yeah, y'all just okay. Y'all starting to beat me there instead of beat me. That's all. And all that other good stuff. And again, man, hey, it's all good in the Discord. You ain't got to be afraid. Ain't nobody gonna beat you up. Trail might yell at you twice, and after that, he'll move on. And somebody like, "Who the fuck is you?" Once you identify yourself, like that, that's usually how it works. Everybody got to get initiated at some point in time. Let me put the link right here. All right, cool. All right, all right, all right. Let me see. Let me see. Man, man. Look, illusion. I already know that. That very dog. That I ain't even gonna say that shit on YouTube. That shit will make anyway. Discord. I'll catch y'all. Link right there. I'm in that thing already. I fucks with y'all. I appreciate y'all for watching the show. I thank y'all for letting me be a part of your lives this evening. And every evening that we do go live. And yeah, appreciate y'all, man. Movie Tuesday. Let's do it. Let's do it. I'll see you there. Go. You know, I like this shit. Did anybody see Broderick? Broderick hiding tonight. He probably if Broderick don't show up for Tubi Tuesday, he'll revoke his some kind of privilege. We're gonna take one as moderators. I don't know. Does he still have a wrench on this channel? If not, we're gonna give it to the market. We're gonna let them niggas share that wrench. Anyway, all right. Discord.